I be looking fresh with them feds watching. I be looking fresh with them feds watching. I be looking fresh with them feds watching. New whip, yeah. Dogs, Toto. All you're doing is going down a bloody yellow brick motherfucking road. Sexual misconduct on a student. I be looking fresh with them feds watching. I be looking fresh with them feds watching. New whip, yeah. Dogs, Toto. Make your block hot. Kettle, buck 40, evil Knievel, I be stunting. Paparazzi, put the barrel down your throat. Have you singing Lady Gaga. I be looking fresh with them feds watching. 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 New whip, yeah. Dogs, Toto.
My name is Aiden Carney, also known as Turtle Boy.
He is a senior editor for Turtle Boy Daily News.
I'm a big fan.
We've broken hundreds of stories that the mainstream media won't touch.
Some blogger in Massachusetts who's getting to the bottom of this better than anybody.
Why is it Turtle Boy that is covering such important issues? Where is the rest of the media?
Did you not say that you were gonna take my baby out of revenge and make him a transgender baby?
Stop it.
Don't you want to ask some questions? I know you do.
I do. I know you do.
People don't like the things that I say and want me to stop saying them, but I won't. I'm never going to stop. These are the kind of stories that must be told.
Yo, what's up, people? Impromptu Live. Welcome to my Impromptu Live here. It's 10:35. I've never done a show at 10:35 in the morning before, but I just want to get this over with because I'm not going to spend my whole day on this loser. That's what Joel Waldman is, a loser and a grifter. So we got to talk about that. And I was going to talk about it last night after what happened, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to sleep on this. I tweeted at him a bunch. I said some things that I was thinking in my head that I completely stand by. And just wanted to, because if I went live last night, it would have been full of like CUNTs and all sorts of stuff. And I'm trying to do this thing where I don't give my enemies exactly what they want, which is like a freak out filled with, vulgarities and other things that they will clip and be like, he says bad words. So I slept on it. I was mature. Okay. I slept on it. And I decided that this morning I would articulate it in the most, because that's what they want. So I will meet him at the battlefield of his choice. He has chosen to completely misrepresent and lie about me. And sure, I could come on here and call him the C word and all that other stuff. But that's exactly what he wants. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to systematically dismantle every lie that he told and show the world what a complete poser, fraud, and liar Joel Waldman from Surviving the Survivor is. The consummate grifter. The word grifter is thrown out a lot. No one is a bigger grifter than Joel from STS. Speaking of grifting, at the top of the stream is something called Turtle Chat. If you would like to pay me money to have a message read, which is a service I provide, not a donation, you are paying money and you get something in return. Donations, you pay something and you expect nothing in return. You can give me your money and pay, and I will read your message, whatever you send, out loud to the class, and we can do it that way. Okay? So, and I will do that at the end of my rant here. Or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtle Boy, and we can grift that way. So let's just jump into it. So the other night on Sex Cult, apparently these people pay to watch me, which is interesting. I did a whole stream on, I don't even remember what we talked about. Oh, Susan Hendricks. I talked about the Susan Hendricks thing. And as I'm known to do at the end of my programs, my presentations, if you will, on my website, tbdailynews.com, I answered questions from Sex Cult members. That's what we call it, Sex Cult. And at the end of Sex Cult, I took some questions from people. Is this not entering full screen? Okay. I don't know if it's letting me do full screen or not. I can't do full screen. All right. But whatever. So at the end of Sex Cult, I did a little comment here about Joel. So Joel from STS is a for those of you unfamiliar, he runs a YouTube channel called Surviving the Survivor. I'd never heard of him before until he invited me on his program in August of 2023. He started talking about the Karen Reed case for the first time, and all of his listeners said, you got to get Turtle Boy on, because his listeners understand that, his viewers understand that I am the go-to guy when it comes to the Karen Reed case. I'm an encyclopedia of knowledge on the topic, and I'm the reason this all kind of happened, that the world knows about the injustice that took place in the murder of John O'Keefe and the subsequent framing of Karen Reed. So he invited me on there. I got the message late. I didn't see it. I ended up joining him midstream, and that was when Wendy Murphy was on. And that's the kind of guest that he has on. He routinely has on her, Jennifer Kovendufis. We're going to talk about some of that. But I went on there, and it was a shit show. And we had discussed having me back on without Wendy Murphy. That has never ended up coming to fruition. He didn't cover the Karen Reed case the second time around. We're going to talk about why. Basically, he's a coward. And at the end of the day, he has a very low rated show. I don't know how many subscribers he has, but if you go on any of his videos, he gets 10,000 total views on each video, whatever, a literal fraction of what I routinely deliver on my program, because people actually want to hear what I have to say, because it's interesting and thought-provoking, unlike him, who is the most milquetoast, uninteresting person on earth. And as a result of this, he's well aware of how Joel is well aware of how uninteresting he is, and how little insight he offers, and what a coward he is for being afraid to delve into tough topics. So that is why he hides and grifts on his mother. This is a grown man who uses his mommy to grift. That's all he does. He uses her experience as a Holocaust survivor, and that's why he calls it Surviving the Survivor. Of course, he wrote a book on it, and he hides behind her lived experience in order to monetize himself. He hides behind the death and murder of 6 million innocent Jews. 6 million Jews were systematically gassed in an attempt to eradicate them from the face of the earth. And Joel Waldman saw all of those dead Jewish people, and he thought the first thing that came to his mind was, how can I make money off of this? Because Joel is an immoral and unethical person who pretends to be virtuous, and we're not putting up with it anymore. So here's what happened on the program the other night. Let's play it out. Aiden, I've never met you, but I love you, man. Thanks, Amy D. I love you too. Yeah, and Wendy is definitely going to testify at that, so that's interesting. According to Surviving the Survivor, she was offered, Donna Adelson was offered time served, get out of jail free, but she has to turn on her daughter, I think, Wendy. So the other day, he had a guy on his show who claims that Donna Adelson was offered a plea deal where she could turn on her daughter, Wendy, and get out of jail. Donna Adelson is being charged with murder. She has a trial coming up in a week or two, and at least jury selection is going to begin in that. And he has a guest on, of course, that made this claim. That claim was immediately debunked by both the prosecution and the defense, I believe. He just made it up. Unfortunately, that fake news, and that's what it was fake news, was platformed by Vinnie Politan on Court TV. He cited and quoted it because they treat this guy like he's some sort of legitimate source of news. He's not. He's a guy with a YouTube channel who grifts off of his mother. That's all he is. That's all he ever was. He is not. He has no background in law enforcement or law or whatever. And he tries to get what he thinks is high profile people on his show in order to grift off of them. He even says it. Hashtag best guests, not hashtag Joel's the best or hashtag Joel's interesting. No, hashtag best guests. And also hashtag Holocaust. Hashtag Holocaust, he said. He actually uses the Holocaust as a hashtag, which is how you draw attention to yourself. Look at me. Hashtag Holocaust. Hashtag Holocaust. Disgusting. Disgusting what this man has done to the legacy of 6 million innocent murdered people. He dumps all over them every single day. He doesn't give a flying F about any of those people who were systematically murdered by the Nazis. He sees that as a way to make money. That's all Joel does. And so, yes, he's also a complete liar who has people on his show who just make shit up all the time. And she turned it down. But again, I don't know. Source is this YouTube channel. I mean, that guy sucks. I mean, by the way, do you know his mother or his grandmother survived the Holocaust? Buy his book. Buy his book. He doesn't let you know that 15,000 fucking times a stream. That guy is the biggest pussy and the biggest coward. Yep. Like he didn't cover the Karen Reed trial the second time around because he was afraid of the negative comments. Because he wasn't a man enough to just admit that Karen Reed's obviously innocent. You're right. And so he does this whole, that guy's the biggest fucking tool bag. No lies. He invited me on a show once. I got a message too late. I ended up going on with Wendy. That was when I went on with Wendy Murphy. I think you said that. It's like the fact that he's having Wendy Murphy on a show really says it all, doesn't it? Yeah. He sucks. No one watches his show. I'm like, bro, do you guys not realize who the fuck I am? I'm Crowd Daddy. I am. The prosecutor for Donna said she didn't offer that deal. So there you go. I mean, that's what I mean by this STS show. It's like, why are we pretending like this guy is anything but just some grifter with really low ratings? He's got like 150,000 subs. Okay, so what have I said so far that's offensive? Nothing. That this guy grifts off his mother. That's just a fact. He won't deny that. And we'll talk about that. You go to any of his streams, no one's fucking watching because his show sucks and it's lame. It's basically a court TV panel every time you're on there. And the only thing he likes talking about is the fucking Adelsons. And oh yeah, his mother was in the Holocaust by his book. Yep. True. You're a good point, Turtle Boy. That's fair. I mean, I haven't done any episodes on the Adelsons, but I'm going to. Okay. Go back to STS. Talk about it more. All right. Come on. So still live? Yeah, you're still live. Okay. Yeah. I was a mod for STS like 3 years ago, and I declined after hearing Kofan Doofer on there. Yeah, he has Kofan Doofer on. That's all I really know to know. Joel literally fucking talks about how he literally wrote a book and has a Jewish mom the whole time. It's like every time I turn him on, he's talking about that. My mother survived the Holocaust, and I buy my book. Okay, Joel. Did she? Okay, so did she? So this is where they start. This is like the thing they're clutching their pearls about now. I go, did she really? So listen to what I say here. Really? Because that would make her like 1,000 years old. Like your mom survived. So I don't know his whole story. He said maybe again. I don't know anything about his story. I've since read up about it. His mother lived in Europe during World War II. She was, I think, 4 or 5 years old. And she was sent to live with some nuns, I believe, some Catholic nuns, passed off as a Gentile. I don't know what country this was in. Again, I'd have to read up on this more. But his mother was alive and basically was a child when the Holocaust happened. And I go on. I don't know. It's like he seems American to me, like perfectly American. And he wants us to believe his mother lived in Poland. Maybe she did. I don't fucking know. Again, he doesn't seem that old to me. To have a mother who survived the Holocaust. I'm like, I'm sorry, if your mom was a newborn baby and happened to be alive somewhere in Europe during World War II, that doesn't count in surviving the Holocaust. It's not the same thing. Surviving the Holocaust means you went to a fucking concentration camp and you lived. You made it out. You went to Auschwitz and you somehow survived that shit. To me, that's what a Holocaust survivor is. Just being alive during the Holocaust and not dying is not the same thing as surviving the Holocaust. It's fucking not. I don't know the whole story. I could be completely off. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But that's his brand. Like he sells every fucking show. I've seen this guy. You go on there, just buy my book. My mom survived the Holocaust. Okay. I don't know. But so there you go. I think I say some more. We'll play a little bit, but just so if I apologize to you, if you expect me to apologize, you've come to the wrong place. Instead of apologizing, I'm going to go ahead and double down. I'm going to clarify what I was saying and explain exactly why I'm right. You've come to the wrong place, dear. This is not the apology channel. This is not the channel where we give in to fake outrage, because that's what it is on the internet. We don't give in to fake outrage here. We defend free speech here. I give my opinions, whether or not you like it or not. Okay. And I'm not going to get up here and do the whole thing. Oh, I have Jewish friends. I'm not going to be one of those people. Oh, I'm not anti-Semitic. I have Jewish friends. I did this. I'm not here to do that. I'm not playing his game. Because that's what that is. I don't go on the defensive. I go on the offensive. If you've watched my show, you know, when do I talk about When do I talk about Jewish people ever on my show? It's not a topic of discussion. The biggest story in the world for the last, 20 something months has been Israel and Gaza. That has been the biggest story in the world for the last however long, since October 7th, 2023. The biggest story in the world, no doubt about it. I never talk about it. I literally never talk about it. I don't take a position on it. I understand it's a contentious issue, and quite frankly, not one that I'm able to offer expert insight on. Therefore, I just don't talk about it, right? Because I don't know shit about it. There's a lot of people who study this stuff that are smarter than me on the topic that can explain it better. I went on Ryan Grimm's show, and he is a very outspoken critic of Israel, right? That doesn't make him a bad person. That's his opinions about the war with Israel in Gaza. Conversely, there are many people who are extremely pro-Israel, and they're allowed to have those positions too. I don't know. I don't pretend to be an expert on foreign relations in Israel and Gaza. Okay. I can't talk about everything. I talk about things that I know about, right? So to suggest that this is some sort of anti-Semite, whatever, when do I ever talk about Jewish issues at all on this show, right? As a history teacher and a person that, almost got a master's in history, I was like, no, I almost have a master's in education. I'm like 3 credits short, but I have a bachelor's degree in history, and I taught it for 11 years. All right. I'm well-versed on the Holocaust. I'm very familiar with the Holocaust. I am firmly of the belief that the Holocaust was accurately portrayed. I'm not one of these people, these Holocaust deniers, because that's somewhat, in case you guys haven't seen on the twat and whatnot, this is somewhat of there is no doubt about it, a rise in, I don't know if you call it anti-Semitism, but anti-Jewish or anti-Zionism at least. And it's out there. People are a lot more today, as opposed to 5 years ago. People are a lot more comfortable on social media saying things about the Jews and classifying them as a group. I've seen it everywhere. Okay. And, right wingers, left wingers, but definitely a lot of right wingers too. I've seen like Candace Owens gone off the fucking deep end with that shit. Other people as well. A lot of people have. They've said some outrageous shit about it. Right. I don't go there. I don't talk. I don't agree with those opinions. I don't even talk about that issue. And, also there's like a lot of people who are so there's a lot of people there that are like just sick of Israel and are, they're the lone Jewish country like in the world. And so they take it out on it. And Israel is in fact in a war with Gaza that Hamas started. I know that. I know the basics. I know Hamas started the war on October 7th. I know this conflict has been going on since 1948, since the United States recognized the existence of the country of Israel, which used to be the country of Palestine, right? It was part of the Ottoman Empire. The Jews used to control it. Jesus was there from there. And the Muslims took it over in a war as land is historically won, right? People take over land in war, right? And they took over that area. And then because it's like the Jewish homeland after the Holocaust, there was a mass movement of people called Zionism, right? Where Jews fled Europe because clearly they were unsafe there. And they said, this is our traditional home. We're staying here. And the United States and the United Nations and a lot of people thought this was a legitimate thing. And they recognized the existence of the nation of Israel. The problem with that is that it used to be the nation of Palestine, right? And now it's so, imagine like all these people come here, millions of people, and they say, this is Israel now. Okay. And they are surrounded by people who hate them. So they moved to an area. They tried to move from a place where everybody hated them, and they moved to another place where everybody hated them. Okay. And they are surrounded by extremists. Every nation that surrounds Israel is filled with Muslim extremists. I know that much, although they do have a nice coastline. Okay. They're on the beach. But everything to the east, north, and south of Israel is hostile towards them. And so as a result of this, there is much conflict, and there has been much conflict over the years. There was the 7-Day War, the 1973 war, the 1967 war, and just a series of attacks by Hezbollah and Hamas and other terrorist groups that target Israel. They were the only democracy in that region for a long time, and we supported Israel because of that, because we support democracy, and we also support internationalism and nation building, right? Historically, and we've spent a lot of money on Israel, right? Unconditionally. There's like no strings attached. We don't tell them what to do with the money. It is spent on their defense because we, this is the Reader's Digest. It's much more complicated than this, obviously, but this is my understanding of this. Okay. And I'm so like, I'm sure there are people in the chat. You're missing this part. This is why I don't talk about it, because you're the fucking experts on it, not me. This is my understanding of it, historically speaking. And it's 95% right what I'm saying here. Okay. And so I take no position on this. I take no position on the conflict in Israel. I understand where both sides are coming from. I do understand where the Free Palestine people are coming from, right? Because, like, for instance, in the United States, right, Europeans came here, and and I would say the Europeans came here, but there was already people here. They're called Native Americans, right? And the Europeans just took them over and established basically Europe Part 2. America. Okay. But the Native Americans were here first, right? But it doesn't matter because land is won in war. Land is won in conquest. The Europeans had the bigger guns, and that's how shit was worked back then. And that's just, I'm not taking a position on it. That's just how it worked. Okay. Well, the Jews had Israel, right? But then they lost it. The Muslims took it over because that's how land, through force. Right? That's how land is won, through force. And so I guess my position was, should we give, what I never understood was with, the creation of the nation of Israel was like, well, you guys lost it in war. Native Americans lost their land in war. We haven't given them back their land, have we? Right? And so, and it's also interesting that we said, okay, we need a home for Jewish people. And we're like, you know where that home should be? In the, let's just put them right in the middle of the biggest Muslim fanatics in the world, as opposed to, I don't know, Idaho. You can have the whole state of Idaho. That can be the new Jewish homeland. It's got potatoes. It's bigger. It's got mountains, right? It's awesome. Just give them the whole state of Idaho. But no, we didn't do that. We put them in the area. We're like, go to the area where everybody hates you the most. And then, oh my God, there's conflict. Oh my goodness gracious, there's conflict there. Okay. And our support of Israel, right, of course, is why many in the Muslim world do not like us, do not like the United States of America. Again, I don't take a position on this. This is just the history of it all. Okay. I've always supported Israel, quite frankly. It's like, I root for them. The Hamas started this shit. This is what I see in Gaza is fuck around, find out. That's a lot of what I see in Gaza. Okay. And hiding behind civilians and blah, blah, blah. So you can say that Israel's doing things that are bad. You can say that Hamas is doing things that are bad. I would argue they're both doing things that are bad. I don't really want to fucking talk about it. I don't really care. Okay. It's not my fight. It's not my thing. Okay. And I'm seeing, like Hamas, I'm seeing people fuck Israel in the comments, they love war. Hamas started it, blah, 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 blah. See, like, you know what I mean? Like I see this and I see like this, it's like, this is why I don't talk about it, because it's just too controversial. So I'm telling you right now that is like, I have no, but to call me an anti-Semite, right, is just so inaccurate. It's not even funny. I am literally the biggest fence sitter ever when it comes to Israel and Palestine. I do not take a position on it because I understand how complicated the issue is, period. So it's just inaccurate to say that. But what I said about this part here, let me play this again one more time. Surviving the Holocaust means you went to a fucking concentration camp and you lived. You made it out. You went to Auschwitz and you somehow survived that shit. To me, that's what a Holocaust survivor is. Just being alive during the Holocaust and not dying is not the same thing as surviving the Holocaust. It's fucking not. I don't know the whole story. I could be completely off. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But that was my position, and I stand by it. I am a Gulf War survivor. I was a child when the United States military went into Kuwait and fought and kicked Iraq out of there when they took over them in 1990 or 1991. I was a child and I lived through it. Okay. I was 19 years old when 9/11 happened. I remember seeing it on TV. I survived that. I survived the attack on the United States of America on September 11th. I also survived the Boston Marathon bomb. And I was actually there for that. I actually saw I was about maybe 150 yards away from the second bomb going off. I heard the first bomb. I was in the Prudential Center food court right around the 26-mile mark. And I heard the first bomb go off. And I was like, what the fuck was that? I think that's a bomb. And then 12 seconds later, I saw the second one go off, right? I didn't get injured. I didn't need to go to the hospital, right? I didn't do anything like that. But I'm a survivor. I survived the Boston Marathon bombing. I also survived COVID because I got COVID, right? Like a lot of other people did. And has COVID killed more people than the Holocaust? I don't know. I don't think it should be a competition, but I'm pretty sure COVID killed a couple million people, right? I'm pretty sure it did, or at least it contributed to that, right? And yet I survived it. I'm a survivor. I survived COVID. I know people who got COVID. I know people who died from COVID, right? You know, friends' parents who were older, who were already sick to begin with, but, you know, I survived it. So I'm a survivor. That would be like what he does with his mother and how he pimps out his mother and uses her to make money is basically what, if I started going around saying, buy my book, I survived COVID, the Gulf War, 9/11, and the Boston Marathon bombing. I am a survivor. That would be the equivalent to that. That is clearly the point I'm making here that any honest person gets. And I go on. That's his brand. Like he sells every fucking show. I've seen this guy. You go on there, just buy my book. My mom survived the Holocaust. Okay. I don't know. But I think she said she was 7, but got out. Not really a survivor. Exactly. Like if you were 7 years old and your parents smuggled you out of fucking France or some shit like that, that does not count as being a Holocaust survivor. I'm sorry. Being a Holocaust survivor, it gives the wrong. When I hear the word Holocaust survivor, I think of like Elie Wiesel. I think of somebody that went to a concentration camp, got nearly starved to death, worked their ass off, saw 1 million people get killed, lost their entire fucking families, and then lived to tell about the story. Okay. So there is a difference. Whether or not you like this, if you're not listening to, if you're saying, oh, he's a Holocaust denier or something like that because of this, you are a dishonest person. Clearly what I said there was that I think there are shades here, right? There are people who, like Elie Wiesel, who went to concentration camps and lived to tell the story about it. And then there are people who left. There is a difference between the two. There is a difference between the two. There are degrees of this. There are degrees. And what I'm saying is I think that he is, when I hear the word Holocaust survivor, when I hear the term Holocaust survivor, the first thing I think of is Elie Wiesel. I think of somebody who went to a concentration camp, saw these atrocities happening in front of them, and lived miraculously to tell the story about it. Okay. Elie Wiesel or Wiesel. I don't know if I pronounced it right, but he lived to tell the story about it. There are degrees of this. Okay. So what I'm saying, that's the point I'm clearly making here, is that there are degrees of this, and that simply being alive and fleeing during the Holocaust, the country, which you should do, which is still bad, which is still a story worth telling for sure. His mother's story is worth telling, right? It's a story of surviving, right? And quite frankly, his grandmother, is the hero there, and the nuns are the heroes who saved his mother's life when she was a child by getting her out of there, right? No doubt about it. My point is, it's not the same thing as going to a concentration camp, seeing the atrocities happen in front of you, and, living to tell the story. It's not the same thing. Sorry, it's not. And for that, I apologize to absolutely nobody. If you think that I'm the kind of person that caves to cancel culture, you have come to the wrong place. I have been dealing with charlatans like you, Joel Waldman, for a long time. For a long time. It's what I do. I've had infinite amount of people try to cancel me by taking things that I've said and saying, oh, it's racist, it's transphobic, it's this and that, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't work with me. I'm not the kind of guy that gives into that. I'm not. And cancel culture is so like 2019 as well, Joel. Cancel culture is out of style. It doesn't work anymore. And what you're doing now is attempted cancel culture, and it's not going to work. That's what I think. Like, that's a Holocaust survivor. Your mom was 7 and they fucking put her on a boat to America. Stop it. Stop it. Anne Frank is a Holocaust. Well, she's not a survivor. If she had made it, she would be a Holocaust survivor. Because if you stay in the country that's occupied by the fucking Nazis, then yes, you are a Holocaust survivor. I will give you that. If you flee, that doesn't count. It's not the same thing. That's not a Holocaust survivor. Sorry, that's fucking fake. The Long Island Audit guy, I haven't been keeping up with it. So that's fucking fake. That's the line he's using, that she's a fake Holocaust survivor. Okay, so first of all, her story's not fake. Her story's real. I don't dispute for 1 second her story. It is completely real. I use the word fake. I guess I could have used a different word. She's not fake. She's real. To be perfectly clear, his mother's story is not made up. I believe his mother's story to be true. I have no other reason to believe otherwise. I believe his mother's story to be factually true. What I don't like is how Joel uses his mother's story and kind of equates, it makes you think that, like, when I hear Holocaust survivor, the first thing I think of is somebody who survived a concentration camp. That's what he wants to get in your head. And that is not what happened. It's not what happened. So, hold on 1 sec. I just gotta respond to a text from my account when I get it. Okay. All right. So anyway, is that the end? And also, let's keep in mind, copy code, that this was not like, he's acting like this was like the topic of the show. This is like the Q&A at the end. This whole show is about something else. This is about Susan Hendricks, right? And so this whole show, this was like the Q&A at the end. And sometimes I do rants at the end, and sometimes a little bit controversial. Take it or leave it. I don't know what you want me to tell you. This is who I am. I'm authentic. Unlike Joel, I'm authentic. I stand for something. I say what's on my mind, and I'm not afraid of blowback because I'm not a coward like Joel Waldman. So, did I say anything more about this? Catch up with him. The world. I want you guys. I mean, that's the beauty of having this platform, is letting the world know that, like, if you're gonna. Okay, so Joel. Get the trolls take this, of course, because they listen to everything I say, and they pay to listen to everything I say, apparently, and they immediately send it to Joel. Okay, and he puts on one of the greatest virtue signaling, pearl clutching performances of all time, and so he made this last night, and you just got to see this. This is the most cringe thing I have ever seen. This is the most, he proves my point for me over and over and over again. Oh yeah, I survived Coney too. That's right. I survived Jones. Don't forget about Joseph Coney 2012. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's play this.
This past week, my mother, Carmela Waldman, who we affectionately call Carm on Surviving the Survivor, turned 86 years young.
Good for her.
And for the first time ever, she was attacked, not physically, but verbally, by a blogger who accused her of being a fake Holocaust survivor.
Attacked her. Listen to this guy. No, Jewel. I attacked you. I criticized you. I don't like the word attacked. I criticized you, not your mother, not Carm. I criticized you in your usage of your mother and her story to sell books, because you did write a book called Surviving the Survivor. Okay. So he immediately starts it off with, I accuse him of hiding behind his mother for money and clicks. And within 5 seconds, he is immediately hiding behind his mother for clicks. He goes on.
The attack, by the way, was completely unprovoked. More than 80 years after she survived World War II, it finally happened. 8 decades later, it was a Boston blogger who's really from Worcester. He
thinks that's some sort of hit. Bro, I advertise the fact that I'm from Worcester. That's where the Turtle Boy statue is. That's where my name comes from. I'm a proud Worcester boy. I'm not a Boston boy. I'm a Worcester boy. There's a big difference, right? We have much less traffic out here and property costs much less. Way better.
Who apparently believes that Jews can still be scapegoated. That we're conveniently here to be kicked around.
That Jews can be scapegoated, and we are here to be kicked around. I mean, this guy actually said that I am scapegoating Jews because I accused him of being a grifter, that I'm scapegoating Jews and I'm kicking Jews around. That is insane. This is the most, he is literally hiding behind, because the Holocaust is a really serious thing. It is a horrible blight on history. Arguably the worst thing that has happened in world history is the Holocaust. Hold on. Okay, hold on. I got to text her, Rick. Yeah, arguably the worst thing that has ever happened in world history is the Holocaust, right? And all this guy does, he sees that happening and he's like, how can I make myself a part of this? Newsflash, Joel, you're not a part of the Holocaust. You're not a victim of the Holocaust. You were never kicked around, because he's grouping himself in we. He's saying we. You're not kicked around by anyone, Joel. You live in the United States of America. You sell books. You make money off of super chats. Okay. You're not some sort of person who has survived trauma or anything like that. You weren't kicked around by the Nazis. None of that happened to you. Yet you're lumping yourself in there with them when you say we.
The blogger was apparently upset for being shunned by CrimeCon. It's the biggest true crime convention in America. But last time I checked, Harm doesn't decide on that. She's been invited because she's big enough in the true crime world, but she doesn't make any of those decisions.
He's making it seem like I'm blaming his mother, that I'm attacking his mother for not being invited to CrimeCon. That's the way he just made that seem, that I'm attacking poor Carm for not being invited to CrimeCon. By the way, I was invited to CrimeCon and then not invited. Like, so, and I don't really care about CrimeCon, because CrimeCon has people like you there. Like, you're the kind of person who goes to CrimeCon and you are an uninteresting person who adds nothing to anything. You are a flavorless douchebag. That's all you are. You're like popcorn before putting salt and butter on it. You are useless. Useless.
But what did the blogger do? He got in front of his little green screen, flipped on his camera, flipped on his microphone, and huffed and puffed like a little petulant child, and went after an 86-year-old woman. Who, like 99.9% of the world, have absolutely no idea who he is, and frankly don't really care.
He's irrelevant. Turtle Boy's irrelevant. Now let me drop everything I'm doing to talk about an off-color statement he made at the end of his pay-per-view sex cult. But he's totally irrelevant, guys. He's a nobody. Turtle Boy. Oh yeah, the guy who has much more of an audience than I've ever had. Right? That guy. Oh, nobody knows about him. Oh yeah, no one's ever heard of Turtle Boy before. Buy my book.
But I do.
Ooh.
Because as the son of a Holocaust survivor, it is incumbent upon me to speak up and to speak out. A little bit about my mom. She's a licensed therapist, and she most certainly is a child Holocaust survivor. There's nothing fake about her story. She also, by the way, survived the loss of her first son, my older brother, Rami, and most recently, her husband of 63 years, who happened to be my father. It was an unbelievable love story. I'm not here to point out the obvious.
Sure.
That some blogger claiming to be, as he calls himself, journalism Jesus.
Oh my God. And that really says it all right there. It claims to be, bro, it's a joke. It's satire. I don't actually think I'm Jesus. It's a joke. It's actually a pun off of Kirk Minahan, who calls himself Podcast Jesus, as a joke, because he's also a guy who makes jokes. And I call myself Journalism Jesus. Quite frankly, I think it's got a better ring to it than Podcast Jesus. But I don't actually think that I'm Jesus. I don't. I admire Jesus. I think he's pretty righteous and pretty cool, right? And I'm all about his vibes and all that, right? But I'm certainly not Jesus. I do not think I'm Jesus himself, just to be perfectly clear.
Is neither godly nor an actual journalist. He's really nothing more than a bully.
And I'm not a journalist. Okay, well, according to Judge Doolin, in his response to our motion to dismiss, he says it in the first paragraph, that Turtle Boy is a journalist. So again, don't take my word for it. Take Judge Doolin's word for it, or take the word of anyone who has followed my writing over the years and seen the major groundbreaking stories that I've uncovered that the mainstream media wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole because they're cowards like you, Joel.
And a weak and unintimidating one at that.
Oh, he's a big, tough guy.
I'm a child psychiatrist. My mother, like I said, is a licensed social worker, so I know a little bit.
Okay.
And when you're a narcissist of epic proportions,
look at
it's
him reading.
Easy to delude yourself into believing that you're somebody you're not.
This is a hot. Look at this. Look at him. This is a. And this is the difference between me and him. I don't need a script. I've done one hostage video my whole life. This is just a hostage video. That's what he's doing. He's reading off a script the whole time. He wrote this whole thing out, and he thought like this will roast him.
And now the blogger's 15 minutes of fame have ticked away, and it's got to be so frightening and frustrating for him.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting to me too that he was allegedly once
so frustrated. His 15 minutes of fame are over. We have a documentary coming out in 4 to 6 months. We have a movie being made, and I'm writing a book. But yeah, besides that, my 15 and also like every time I'm in court, I'm on TV. But besides that, my 15 minutes of fame are up for sure, Joel.
A history teacher.
Yeah,
the students, sadly, were no doubt cheated out of what should have been a very valuable education. You want to pontificate about what?
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Like, I was a great teacher, Joel. Ask any of my students, thousands of them that I had in my class that came through room 216 at Shepherd Hill Regional High School. They know better than I do. I taught them United States history better than any teacher that they've ever had in their entire life. But again, don't take my word for it. Why don't you actually talk to some of my former students? Go ahead.
Real and what's fake. Here's a dose of reality. You picked a fight with an 86-year-old woman.
Oh my God.
And only one kind of person does that.
Oh my God.
An absolute coward.
Picked a fight with an 86-year-old woman. Oh, I mean, he's just a liar. He's just a guy who wants to be a victim so bad. You are hiding behind an 86-year-old woman. You're like Hamas, bro. You hide behind women and children. That's what you're doing right now. You are hiding behind the elderly because you're not man enough to talk about what I actually said and my actual legitimate criticisms of you as a grifter. And now you're a big tough guy. Look at his face. Look at his face. I'm going to stand up to you, but not by like debating you or confronting you in person. I'm going to go on my YouTube and I'm going to make an angry hostage video and act like a tough guy. I'm so tough. I'm standing up for you. You're picking on the elderly. I'm so tough. Look at me. I'm Joel. Buy my book.
Hiding in his little living room studio. Here's more truth. Carm was more of a woman at age 4.5 than you'll ever be as a man at 40, 50, 60, 70, however long you live.
Okay.
At 4.5 years old, my fake survivor mom, your words, not mine,
fake survivor,
who happens, by the way, to speak 6 languages fluently.
Congratulations. So she's a fake survivor. I didn't say she's a fake survivor. I said your story about her, you're equating her to somebody who lived through a concentration camp is fake because she didn't go to a concentration camp.
And has an IQ that I'm sure you'd have trouble counting up to. Well, at 4.5 years old, she was alone at that age. A righteous Gentile, a person who wants to help, not hurt, out of the goodness of their heart. A foreign concept probably for you.
What?
But that person, that righteous Gentile, a man named Dr. Ivo Scherzer, he brought my mom to a Catholic school for boys.
Okay.
Her mother left her there because she had to for any chance of survival.
Yes.
And my mom screamed at her, she tells me, and I quote here, a mother who loves her child would never leave her alone with strangers. But that's exactly what my grandmother did because she had to do that. Inside the Catholic school, my mom learned her prayers, including the Our Father and Hail Mary.
Okay.
As nun Matilda Gorachanish helped protect her. That nun had real love and purpose in her heart, and my mother had real love for her.
Again, this is all a great story. I like this story, which he's reading off a piece of paper. For some reason, somehow he doesn't have his mom's story memorized, which I find interesting. I come up here and if I were to tell you all about my mother, I don't need a script. I'm going to tell you all about how awesome my mother was. And it's easy. I'm also not going to hide behind my mother ever. I will never, ever hide behind my mother like this coward is. All right. And he's telling me the story, which is a really interesting story. No doubt about it. My issue is that look at his freaking brand. He's using his mother. He's like using his mother's story. That is his entire identity is his mom, not him. He's not an interesting person. I don't see his mom on the show. She's on once in a blue moon, I guess. She's not like a regular thing on it, but his entire show and his entire brand revolves around what his mother went through, not what he went through.
I grew up in a Jewish home with a picture of that nun hanging in our living room, thinking that that was perfectly normal for a Jewish kid. And my mom, I found out later on, donated to her in the church until she died late in her 90s. After 8.5 months faking it, as the blogger says, inside that Catholic school for boys, my mother was finally reunited with her mother, my grandmother, in Budapest. That's when the equally fake bombs began to rain down on the city during the siege of Budapest. The Russians soon invaded the city, and as war waged, there was no food. My mom had no choice but to eat slabs of horse meat that people would run out to the streets and carve off from the injured animals.
Oh, okay. So she ate horse meat, which, by the way, sounds delicious. But yeah, okay. Yes, I totally got it. Your mom lived in Europe during the Holocaust and lived to tell the story about it. She ate a horse. Okay. I ate a cow. All right. I ate a pig. She ate an animal. Okay. A lot of people ate horse meat during World War II, right? A lot of people survived World War II. A lot of people survived World War II, and then their children didn't use their survival to grift and sell books on YouTube. That's the difference between you and I.
During this time, still only 5 years old, she protected her entire family while remaining in hiding. And how'd she do it? She would loudly recite the prayers she learned in that Catholic school for boys. She didn't want her mother and her grandmother and the others to be made as Jews. Even back then, my mother understood the notion of self-sacrifice firsthand. You know who else does? Jesus. But not journalism, Jesus. He sacrifices
roasted
everyone in front of him just to get a little bit more attention. It's his crack. It's his heroin.
What?
But I've got some more reality.
Oh, here it comes.
All the attention in the world is never going to satiate his empty soul.
Oh, empty. So empty.
The most dangerous thing that you've ever had to escape are your thoughts, which in your case, may be just as scary as my mom's real experience during the Holocaust. You have to hear the truth when you're all alone, that you're not that smart, not a real journalist.
I'm smarter than you.
But rather a sad, scared, inadequate little blogger.
I'm a scared blogger. Bro, you literally said you wouldn't talk about the Karen Reed case because you were afraid of the blowback. Those were your exact words. Do I need to bring the tweet up? Do I? Because I got it. I got it, Joel. Right? You literally said that. Do we need to get this for you? I know I got it here somewhere. What's this one? Must have it somewhere. Let's see what we got here. I got a bunch of tweets open here. We'll find it, Joel. I got it for you. Don't you worry. We'll get it. We'll go read your tweets after this. But remember, I'm scared. Bro, you wouldn't talk about the Karen Reed case because you were afraid of internet criticism. And you're talking about people being scared, Mr. Tough Guy, Mr. I'm so tough because my mom went through something tough. Bro, what did you go through that was tough, Joel? Like, what's your story? Why don't you ever talk about your story? Can we hear about your struggles growing up, Joel? Can we hear about that? Did you survive tough times? Did you? Because we know your mom did. We get that. But what about you? What about you? Let's talk about me and you, Joel. You afraid to do that, Joel?
And you know what? Those thoughts must be as scary to you as the Nazis actually coming for my mother and her family.
What?
And that's probably why you refuse to believe my mom's Holocaust story.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it's true.
It helps that little fear inside your head.
Oh my God. I believe your mother's story is true. I believe she was alive during the Holocaust. I believe everything you said about her. Everything you said. I just don't think that that's the same thing as surviving a concentration camp. That's it. That's all it comes down to.
You know what? I didn't think that you could sink lower than calling the poor mother of a murdered Boston police officer the C word.
Oh, here we go.
But when you deny my mother's reality.
There we go. He's using that trope. Oh, I called Peggy O'Keefe, who is a cunt to me, exactly what she is. Right? I don't like Peggy O'Keefe, so I'm a bad person. Oh, no. Okay, there you go.
Her pain, her experiences, somehow, you become even smaller. Jew hate and anti-Semitism has never, ever been higher.
What?
And if things weren't so bad in the world right now, I'd probably, truthfully, never waste my time on someone who has as little importance as you do.
Yeah, but yet you are.
But you picked a fight with the wrong person.
Who did I pick a fight with? Oh.
My mother.
Oh. I picked
Trust me, and here's another stinging reality. She has no idea who you are.
She literally, I mean, yet you're talking about, he's doing this whole thing about you're not important while talking to me and telling me, and you also invited me on your show, by the way. And I came on. and I roasted Wendy Murphy. But yeah, besides that, she is right. I'm really not important at all.
Literally none. But unfortunately, I do. And I promised myself I'd never remain silent again in the face of a Jew hater, no matter how small he is. Being quiet is not an option. Truthfully, you're so irrelevant that for a fleeting moment, I just thought I'd let your stupidity or ignorance or both slide.
But then you didn't.
But this is not just about me.
Yeah.
It's a difficult concept, I know, for you.
I know.
It's about so much more.
It's
about 1.5 million children who died in the Holocaust because of people with similar mindsets to you. A very real fact.
Because of similar mindsets to you. I am the reason that 1.5 million children died. That's what he just said. You hear that? Anybody standing up for this guy? This guy literally he is now hiding and using the deaths of 1.5 million children, the slaughter of 1.5 million children, in order to sell his book. He's making money off of murdered children. This guy is the biggest piece of shit ever. Who does that? Who uses the deaths of millions of children to try to ingratiate themselves and make money? Who does that? That's disgusting. Disgusting. Oh my God. This is insane.
It's about the roughly 260,000 remaining Holocaust survivors still alive around the world. I would never let all of them down by staying silent.
Oh, yeah.
You're not interesting.
He's letting them, like, all these Holocaust survivors in the world are like, thank God for Joel. Thank God I'm this important. Imagine thinking you're this important. Look at with your whole tough guy thing. Imagine thinking that. Imagine that. Thinking that you're this important, that you can come on here and act like you are the voice for Holocaust survivors everywhere. Disgusting.
Of interest. Your little tough man talk is tired already.
Even your
quickly dwindling.
My tough guy talk. You look how tough you're being. I don't try to act tough. I was on there laughing and cracking jokes. You try to act tough. Look at your Hardo routine. Who are you impressing with this? Who are you impressing right now?
Number of supporters have reached out over the last couple of days in alarmingly large numbers to tell me the exact same thing.
Ooh, okay. Oh,
and by the way,
people reached out
during my mom's quote unquote fake Holocaust experience. Her own real father, my grandfather, was grabbed by the Nazis by the shirt collar, pulled out of his front door, and sent in a cattle car to Auschwitz.
That's bad.
Educated in Germany as a doctor of optometry, he thought he was going to be able to sweet talk his way into a job at Auschwitz, just fixing eyeglasses. But instead, he tried to talk to the SS. They said, get in the line over there. And that line eventually led to the gas chambers. Hate won that day, sort of like the hate that you are constantly spewing. Then his
hate won that day, sort of like the hate that you are constantly spewing. So he is comparing two things and saying they're basically equal. His grandfather being gassed and incinerated is the same thing as the topics that I talk about on my show. Those are the same things. That's what this guy is saying right now. Do you understand how offensive that is to millions of people who were murdered in the Holocaust? Do you understand how offensive that is? Do you understand how you are shitting on your grandfather's grave right now? That's what you're doing. You're taking a steamy dump on him. To equate the things that I've said on my program, calling Peggy O'Keefe the C word and saying that is the same thing as his grandfather being murdered in the Holocaust is insane. It is insane. It is dishonest. And that's what Joel is. He is a dishonest liar. He is a fraud.
His body was shoved into an oven so no evidence would remain. So when I took my wife and my kids and my mother back to Serbia, back to her hometown of Subotica 2 summers ago, so they could learn about the history that you robbed your students of, the only thing that was left of my grandfather is his name on his father's tombstone. My kids laid stones on it, as is Jewish tradition. That's our reality, and a very difficult history lesson.
Our reality? Our reality? No. That's your mother's reality. That's your grandfather's reality. It's not your reality. Your reality is you were born and raised in the United States and you make money off of super chats. That's your reality, Joel. That's what you do. You didn't survive the Holocaust. You act like you did. You did not survive the Holocaust. You went through nothing. You have survived no hardships. Nothing. You are a grifter profiting off of the deaths of millions of innocent Jews to enrich yourself.
9 and 6-year-olds keeping in mind my mother was younger than all of them when she was out on her own during her fake Holocaust story. As a licensed social worker, my mother spent her life giving, not taking like you. She helped crack addicted moms. I remember it vividly.
Good for
families
her.
who lost everything. Anyone and everyone who needed something, she helped during difficult times.
Good.
Not only that,
I'm
she
glad.
lights up a room. She is the
Yeah.
person that literally everybody wants to be around. Perhaps another reason you took a real cheap shot at her.
I took a
It must be
shot at
lonely
her.
being the guy that everyone tries to avoid.
Oh, right.
You've gotten away with so much,
Everyone-
way too much.
Everyone tries to
But one
avoid
thing
me,
you
huh?
ain't getting away with on here
Oh, tough guy.
is denying my mother her
Oh,
parents.
tough guy. Tough
Karma
guy.
will likely court you soon enough.
Oh, yeah, sure.
My
Will.
mother, meanwhile, she's a walking, breathing, living piece of history.
Yeah.
The epitome of class,
But you're not.
strength, and optimism.
You're not.
And I'll tell you what, outside of my mother,
Ooh,
my
tough
wife,
guy.
and my 3 kids, maybe even my dogs, my book, Surviving the Survivor, is my life's greatest achievement.
He's like I criticized him for using his mother's experience to pimp out his book. And he's like, buy my book. Buy my book. Like literally proving my point.
It's the most important story that I have ever told and is what journalism is actually all about. So it's rich that a guy who has literally collected off the backs of anyone who would give to his ever-growing defense funds has the audacity to ridicule me mentioning my book about my real mother on my very real show.
Your mother that you're making. Does your mom make the money off the book, by the way? What percentage of the book royalties go to your mom, by the way? Not that that's any of my business, but it's really her story that you've monetized. You've monetized her story. You've done it well. It's your entire identity. Every time I've watched your show a handful of times when interesting people are on, and you always seem to be talking about that. So that's why I mentioned that.
Trust me, it would be the most important book you'd ever read. I guarantee it, if you weren't always too busy thinking about yourself. In fact,
Oh,
I wish everyone watching right now would
Oh.
order a copy of Surviving the Survivor right now on Amazon. You can get it. And then you know what? Turn around and donate it to your public library
What?
yourself. In
What?
fact, I wish everyone watching right now would order a copy of Surviving the Survivor right now on Amazon. You can get it. And then you know what? Turn around and donate it to your public library. And make
he literally said, like, he's like, go buy my book. He just said that. I'm like, bro, this dude peddles his book and monetizes his mother's life experience that he had nothing to do with. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll prove you wrong. Go buy my book. Everybody go buy my book, but don't hold on to my book. Then donate my book to a library. So basically just give me money. Just give me money and then put my book in a public library, because the library won't buy the book itself. So I need you to give me money, because no one's buying my book. No libraries are buying my book. I'm not that interesting. I'm not Elie Wiesel. I'm not somebody that survived the Holocaust. I'm not an interesting person. And therefore, no bookstores or libraries are putting my books on the shelf. So I need you to give me money, buy my book, and then put it in the library so someone will give a fuck about me. That is the most pathetic thing I've ever heard. That is the biggest grift I've ever seen right there.
a dedication. Make it out to the blogger who minimized the Holocaust.
Minimize
Speaking
the
to your
Holocaust.
followers now.
Okay.
Do you really want this?
Minimize the Holocaust. Minimized it. I have never once minimized the Holocaust. If I minimize, people who minimize the Holocaust are people who say that, well, 6 million people didn't die, or that, it wasn't that bad, or the media is lying about it. The media is controlled by the Jews. That's what people who minimize the Holocaust say. I don't say any of that shit. I believe that everything reported about the Holocaust is true. Okay. I have no reason not to believe it's true. Okay. I am not in any way minimizing the Holocaust, and he knows that. I'm minimizing him. I'm minimizing him, not the Holocaust. And this guy hides behind it. He minimizes the Holocaust. He equated the Holocaust to things I say on my show. He equated the Holocaust to me calling Peggy O'Keefe the C word. He did that. He said that. They're the same thing, he said. They are the same thing. And now he's got his tough guy thing. And now he wants to talk to you guys. He wants to talk to you.
This guy to be your voice. Make a dedication. Make it out to the blogger who minimized the Holocaust. I'm speaking to your followers now.
Oh, okay.
Do you really want this guy to be your voice of reason? someone who denies and minimizes the brutality and the reality of the Holocaust, someone who calls an 86-year-old survivor fake and another elderly woman the C word after she's lost her son.
So he's like, hey, I care about my mom so much. Now let me talk to Turtle Boy's followers and get them to stop following him. So this is this is like the next step he's doing, is attempting to he's like, I got to get people to stop watching him. Now he's doing the cancel culture thing. And let me talk to Joel's followers and say, is this the guy you want to support? A guy who makes blood money off of the death of 6 million Jews? Is that the kind of guy you want to support? A talentless douchebag who is so uninteresting that he uses the murder of 8 million strangers and acts like he went through what they went through in order to make money off of that. Is that what you want to support? That kind of person? Because that's who Joel Waldman is. A complete fraud. He is not a Holocaust survivor. He is a Holocaust grifter. That's what he is.
Who denies reality and only really cares about himself? Or is that not low, depraved, and demented enough? I mean, you guys are smart. I went to school up in Boston. I know how smart you are.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't keep falling for this guy.
Oh, yeah. Can't keep falling.
Remember one thing, blogger. My mother is more real than you will ever be on your best day.
Oh, okay.
I dropped a link in this show summary to an organization that both my mother, my wife, myself, and many others I know have donated to. It's called the Jewish Foundation for the Righteous. It's to help Gentiles, non-Jews, who sacrifice their own lives to save people like my mother. And it's another great way to speak out against the blogger.
And I'm going to mention that after I mention my book. Also buy my book. The book comes first. So you can give to this charity, but first buy my book. But first do that. I'll be right back. Hold on. All right, we're back. Sorry. All right, cool. We're back. So anyway, that's him. So where did it go? Oh, wait. Got this on. All right, cool. And so I see people like this about saying that, where is it? I mean, I like, again, I'm not doing the whole I have Jewish friends thing. It's because I don't do that. That's what people, I don't do the whole I have black friends thing. I don't do any of that. Like when people attack me baselessly, I don't try to be like, oh, I'm not this because here's evidence of it. I don't do anything like that. Right. I just break down what you say and point out what a liar you are. That's what I do. That's what I do. But then I see this. I wish Turtle Boy would question the official narrative instead of repeating it. See, I don't do that either. I'm not like, because that's the Holocaust denialism, I guess, is when people say stuff like that. And I've never done that. I'll never do that. That's not my thing. Never been my thing. I fully understand the depravity of the Holocaust. I get it more than anyone. I get it. But I don't pretend to have lived through it. I don't. Okay. And neither did Joel. So, let me show you some other stuff here about Joel real quick. Okay. And some of the shit that he's saying. So Joel routinely lies on his show. Listen to this right here. This is the kind of people he platforms on his show.
Get this off. I am not opposed in any way to having Turtle Boy back on. I just want it to be balanced when he's on.
So his followers are constantly telling him, get Turtle Boy on your show. And because I matter. And this obviously bothers him because he has Jennifer Roman on here, who is listen to what she says.
With other guests. But personally, I never, and most reporters, people who portend to be journalists, they don't want to involve themselves in the story, but he's really become a big part of this story. Just, I'm curious, what do you make of his involvement? It was also revealed that he was having a lot of phone conversations with Karen Reed herself, that reportedly he was given a car, all sorts of things.
He was given a
really
car.
driven a lot of the narrative.
A complete lie.
From his perspective, he's done a really good job. He's gotten the word out there, but it's been pretty one-sided. Curious about your thoughts.
Yeah. So the reports are that, and it's actually confirmed that Karen Reed's brother bought a car for Turtle Boy. And then there are reports that Karen Reed was providing him with information.
It's confirmed that Karen Reed's brother bought him a car. That's what she said. It's not like I've heard it happen. It's confirmed that Karen Reed's brother bought Turtle Boy a car. That never happened. She's a lawyer, by the way. She's a lawyer and a legal analyst on TV. And she went on there and said that Turtle Boy's lawyer, or Turtle Boy's, Karen Reed's brother bought Turtle Boy a car.
Yeah, so the reports are that, and it's actually confirmed that Karen Reed's brother bought a car for Turtle Boy.
Karen Reed's brother bought a car from Turtle Boy. Well, here's my purchase of the Lexus, which I've published on my website. Here is, I messaged him about it, and I said, hey, man, I just watched your stream today in which blatantly defamatory information was spread about me. Nathan Reed did not buy me a car. That is laughably ridiculous. And if you're going to talk about that, why not just have me on to discuss it? Why are you're talking about me? I'm so irrelevant, Joel, but yet you're talking about me on your show, and your guests are spreading lies about me. Your best guests in the world. They're spreading lies about me. And your response to that is, I followed it up, made sure to. She stuck by it. We are covering this extensively. Let's get you on in the end of this week. Will be fun to have you back. So she stuck by it. Well, then it must be true if she stuck by it, right? So this guy accuses me of lying on my show, and he has a woman on who just says something that is verifiably proven to be untrue, just completely untrue. So there's one lie. Okay. Another one we got on Joel. What else do we got on him? What's this one? Okay. Listen to this. So that he has on Joe Krowski a lot, Colin Albert's attorney. And let's see the timestamps on this one I got here. 1730. Okay, let's start with 1730.
For closings, no one could help but notice, of course, that the Alberts, Jen McCabe, Brian Albert, were in the gallery sitting on the side of the O'Keeffes. This triggered, by the way, Turtle Boy, who then just teed off in what I thought was a really classless, disrespectful way on the family, basically saying horrible things about them.
I said horrible things.
What do you make of them being in the gallery? And then, the O'Keeffes are the victims here. I just want to let you chime in.
So again, he talks about me all the time, yet he won't have me on his show. I'm the coward. He talks about me, but he'll never actually debate me, but I'm the coward. Okay, sure thing, Joel. Because I said negative things about Peggy and Paul O'Keefe, who I have my own separate reason for not liking. Believe it or not, everything is not as it's presented.
On that, the fact that they're sitting in this courtroom, their son is dead, their daughter's dead from a brain tumor. They've got to be going through hell. Have people no mercy on the victims?
Well, yeah, the irony is Turtle Boy and his followers are about 400 strong outside the courthouse and on the courthouse steps. And they were all riled up of 4 people sitting in. Look, those 4 individuals have a right to be there. Karen Reed has her family there. Karen Reed has people that have been promoting her innocence on the internet. She invites them and they sit with her family. So look, people have equal access to the room. I think what that was is those individuals saying, we're not running and hiding. You pointed the finger at us. You've accused us of killing John O'Keefe. We testified, but we're here to say that we had nothing to do with it. We've got our head held high, and we're going to sit here and watch this. And I think it was a message being sent from the O'Keefe family that they don't buy into the conspiracy, that they believe that these people were wrongly targeted. I will say it's really strange. The courtroom, and I try cases in that courthouse, is way too undersized for a case of this magnitude. It almost seems like there's only 1 or 2 seats open to the public. The rest are designated for the O'Keefe family or the Reed family, and then there's a couple of seats for employees. To go to your point about things that were said about Mrs. O'Keefe, John O'Keefe's mother, look, I like good, honest, robust debate. But there is really an ugly, ugly vitriolic side to this where, and mostly I put the blame at some of the most ardent Free Karen Reed supporters. If you take a position that is contrary to what they believe, they will come after you personally. They will come after your family members. They will wage a smear campaign. They will engage in misogyny. They will insult people for their looks or their socioeconomic status. It's really.
Have you seen what your people do? I mean, this is just the ultimate gaslighting to say that Free Karen Reed people are so offensive, bro. Have you seen? I mean, I could give you a list of shit of outrageous things that your people have said. Okay. It's like everybody does it on both sides. There's no doubt about it. It's not the best thing in the world, but it is what it is. It's free speech. People say nasty shit about each other. I don't know what you want me to say.
Really an ugly and nasty thing. The other thing going on from my observation is they're literally tailgating and cheering outside. And to me, it lacks a certain decorum that should be present at a case where, look, and with all due respect to everyone, John O'Keefe is the alleged victim and Karen deserves the trial. It's ultimately her trial. But I think,
yeah, the trial was a circus. We didn't tailgate outside of it. There's no barbecuing or anything like that. People pulled up lawn chairs and watched on their phones. There's no tailgating, but perhaps there should have been, because that was a circus and that was a fraud. What happened there? And people should treat it like a joke, because it was a joke. That trial was a joke.
Both sides deserve a much more serious and higher level of decorum for what's at stake here for everyone.
There are a lot of keyboard warriors for sure. I'm curious, Joe Krowski, has anyone approached you in person and gotten in your face about this case?
No, and they'd be advised not to. So, I'm just talking to the city candidates. No, look, you just have to be thick-skinned, and you just have to ignore it. It says a lot more about the person, the declarant of statements like that, than it does the recipient. I've got clients. Everyone on this panel has clients that we're much more concerned with. I've done some media stuff on this case, and I had some involvement with Colin Albert, and I try to be objective and call it how I see it. Little personal attacks and shots, those don't do anything to me.
Colin,
look at it. So listen to what he said. Now he talks about the C.F. McCarthy's incident. Listen to what he says here.
Look at this, Joel. You were completely wrong about Turtle Boy the other day. By the way, I've gotten along with Turtle Boy. I don't think everything he does is on the up and up or too kosher or the way I would handle things, but can't control others. The McAlberts were the ones who provoked everything and harassed Aiden. Colleen R., my point was Turtle Boy decided to have dinner next door to D&E Pizza when it's, first of all, he's not from Canton. There's a million other places on the eve of closing arguments. Just by being there, people know who he is. People aren't idiots. And he was instigating simply by an appearance there. And it did not surprise me that he had his phone slapped out of his hands. And I'm surprised that things, to be honest, haven't elevated to an uglier degree. And I really hope that it doesn't. That's all
He actually says that it's my fault. I was assaulted by Jill Daniels and Jim Ferris. That's called victim blaming right there. It's my fault that we went out to eat in Canton, which we were there. We weren't there to cause trouble. We've been over this. We were there to recreate Karen Reed's ride and see if Nicholas Garino was correct when he said that the phone would show you going up and down 3 flights of stairs if you took that route. And it did not. We proved them wrong. And then it was 6 o'clock, so we were hungry, so we ate a meal of food at C.F. McCarthy's. When we left C.F. McCarthy's, they tried to provoke it by sexually harassing Meredith, by putting literal hands on her on tape, saying this. Yeah, just a little touch, Sam Nagel said, and then saying horrific things about her and about me in an attempt to provoke us into a fight. And we didn't do it at all. And then they brought in 2 people, Jim Ferris and Jill Daniels, who both physically assaulted me, took the camera out of my hands. Chris Albert said he was going to smash my face up and down the sidewalk. But according to Joel, that's my fault. I provoked that. That's my fault. I'm not allowed to eat food in Canton. I'm not allowed to eat a meal of food in Canton. And then when I do eat food in Canton, it's kind of my fault. I get what I get. I can eat food anywhere, right? Except for Canton. I'm not allowed to eat food in Canton because that's starting a fight with the McAlberts, according to Joel, right? Right? Imagine that. Imagine somebody said that about Israel. What would Joel say then? What would Joel say? Well, yeah, I mean, Zionists moved to Israel, Joel, right? And they were attacked by various Muslim fanatic groups, right? But that must be the Jews' fault, right? Is that what you're saying, Joel? Is that when somebody goes to an area where people are hostile towards them, it's their fault when they're attacked. Is that what you're saying, Joel? Because it sounds like that's what you're saying. When people go to an area where they know people are hostile towards them and then they get attacked by them, it's not the person who attacked them's fault. It's their fault for being there. Because it sounds like that's what you're saying, Joel. Victim blaming. That's what it sounds like you're saying. But okay. Okay. So there's that.
You can say, speaking to Joe's point about this kind of circus atmosphere, Scott.
All right. So there's that. Then we got this one. Then there's this brilliant person. He's got the best guests. And then he had this guy on with Betterow.
Based on what I see, I go, I know troopers. I worked with troopers for 20 years on the gang, but it's not just because I know this based on what I've seen. It doesn't mean anything, right? I can say that this person where I look at everything the defense attorney is doing and they're creating.
So he talks about whether or not there's reasonable doubt in the Karen Reed case, whether or not it's Karen Reed's guilty or innocent. And he seems to take the position that there's no evidence whatsoever that Karen Reed did this.
Creating that reasonable doubt because, to me, the way I say that is they're throwing things up on the wall like spaghetti on a wall to see what sticks. By saying, oh, it was Brian Higgins. No, it was this person. Oh, 3 different people could have killed him. To me, that's where I don't believe in the conspiracy. But it's not just because I know this based on what I've seen. It doesn't mean anything, right? I can say that. I can know somebody did something, but if I can't prove it beyond a reasonable doubt, it doesn't matter. And that's where the issue is here.
Jeff, what's making you, at this point, Jeff, what is making you believe that Karen Reed hit him with a car at this point?
Just based on conversations I had with people beforehand that I know troopers. I worked with troopers for 20 years on the gang unit. I know the troopers. So when I have troopers saying, hey, look, she did it, I believe them. But just because of that information, when I look at the fact patterns, based on what I see, I go, look, he wasn't in the house, right? I don't believe that.
He calls best guests, he says. He is the best guests. And he has a guy on who says that there seems to be lots of reasonable doubt that Karen Reed did this, but ultimately I think she did it because state troopers I trust told me that she did it. The police said they did it, so therefore she did it. Trust me, bro. These are the best guests that he has on his program. And by the way, how come Joel just doesn't have a show where he just does the thing? Why does he need to leech off his guests? Why do you even, if you can put on a good show, Joel, and you're actually talented, what do you need guests for? Why do you always leech off these other people and attempt to use them to get clicks on your show? Interesting. And also, you do have another guest that you have is Wendy Murphy. Let's see if he's going to, what did Wendy Murphy say about Karen Reed? She said a lot of things. Let's see. Because of her lawyers, Karen Reed will spend many years behind bars. Oh, that turned out not to be true. With prisoners who will enjoy using her for all sorts of perversions. A real riot. So Wendy Murphy said that prison rape is funny. It's a real riot, she said. A real riot. So is he going to condemn her? Because he's asking that people condemn me for this, as we're going to see. Let's check out his twit-twat. He's lost his ever-loving mind today. By the way, look at his whole bio here. Best guests. Hashtag Holocaust. Like, imagine ever saying hashtag Holocaust survivor mom. Hashtag Holocaust. I mean, who does that? Who does, like, it's a hashtag is like a trending topic that everybody's talking about. It's like, ooh, hashtag Holocaust. Let me get in on that. Let me get some clicks off the Holocaust. When you use a hashtag, the whole purpose to use a hashtag is to get clicks. He actually used a hashtag and used the hashtag Holocaust. That's what kind of grifter Joel is. So let's see what he's saying here. He went in this whole, he lost his ever-loving mind last night. My real take on a blogger. I love how he thinks that's insulting. On a blogger calling my 86-year-old mom a fake Holocaust survivor. Buy my book. Buy my book. And here's my mom. He literally, like, look at, I want to put this in the Louvre of grifting. Puts his mom's face on his cover photo and says, buy my book. But I'm after being accused of using his mother to sell books. Insane. Like, imagine being that tone deaf. Imagine doing that. Then of course the antis are all capitalizing on this because they're trying to woo him over. They've all been criticizing him throughout the whole trial he clearly thought Karen Reed was innocent based on a lot of his comments that he made. But let's see. Carm would whoop his tiny ass verbally and likely physically. Okay. I mean, cool. So I would be beat up by an elderly woman. Awesome. What's your point? What does that have to do with my underlying point, Joel, that you're using the deaths of 6 million innocent people to monetize your channel and sell a book? Okay. And call me a Holocaust denier and a Holocaust minimizer, right? Dedication to the blogger, the Holocaust minimizer. Holocaust minimizer. Interesting. Speaking of Holocaust denier, I'm also a Holocaust denier. He's literally calling me a Holocaust denier, which is defamatory, by the way. I am not in any way, shape, or form a Holocaust denier. I mean, Joel Waldman denier. Then he says, look at this little tough guy act. Only time I will address this publicly is now. You're a weak man. You're a weaker blogger. You ain't a journalist. Not close. Journalism requires empathy. I don't think journalism requires empathy at all. I think journalism requires reporting the facts. I think that's what that is, but okay. And I have empathy. I have all the empathy in the world for people who survived the Holocaust and people who lost loved ones. You ain't a journalist. How come you mention Wendy, but not my mom now? Why did I mention Wendy? Because I said to him, you repeatedly have Wendy Murphy on your low-rated show and pretend she's some sort of legitimate attorney. You are also too scared to cover the biggest murder trial in the country and certainly too scared to have me on your show to discuss it. I assure you, I am not the fake person here, right? So my point here, Joel, is that I mentioned Wendy Murphy because she says outrageous shit, offensive shit about prison rape, and you platformed her. So you're okay with that. Are you going to denounce her, Joel? I'm waiting for you to, because Joel, until he does that, I assume that he supports prison rape because he had her on the show and he hasn't denounced it yet. That's his logic. You pick on women in their 70s or 80s. All right. You're not a UFC fighter. My mom, I don't pretend to be. My mom would kick your ass. Okay. So please stop making fists and photos. Oh my God. He doesn't get the journalist. He doesn't get the humor. Bro, we're mocking Colin Albert and the Camp people because the McAlberts go like this in every photo. So I do that mocking them, just like the journalism Jesus thing. I have what's called a sense of humor. You wouldn't understand what that means. Your whole circle ghosted you the nanosecond the verdict was announced. Yeah, besides the fact that I got the only Alan Jackson interview, the first Alan Jackson interview. I got an interview with Paula the juror. I got record amounts of views after the trial. But yeah, and when I came out of the courthouse, people were screaming my name, something that'll never happen to you because I'm beloved and you are not. So it sucks to be you. Your whole circle, you're all alone. Ben Affleck must be wondering right now why he's snapping pictures with a Holocaust minimizer. Yeah, I'm sure Ben Affleck's paying attention to you, Joel. Right. Oh, totally not. Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, Ben Affleck is really, he must hate me now. Right. Sure thing. Because you're fake outrage here. Time for the bullied. And yet, wait till you hear. I wonder what Ben Affleck's thoughts are on Islam. I've heard them before on the Bill Maher show. I've heard them. Right. I don't think they're going to align with yours. I don't think his take on the conflict in Gaza and Palestine is going to align with yours. But good luck trying to get Ben Affleck to cancel me. Good job. Time for the bully to be bullied. Oh, you're bullying me. You're such a big tough guy, Joel. The gig's up, bitch. Dude, this is such boomer cringe, dude. Like, look at this. Let's get hashtag Holocaust minimizer and hashtag bully the bully trending. Bro, let's log off the internet. This is embarrassing, dude. This is boomer cringe. That's what that is. Boomer cringe. Pure boomer cringe. I'm embarrassed for you. The blogger is lucky Carm wasn't let loose. I took it easy on the bully. Gay. Best guests, better community. The blogger has no idea he has unleashed SDS Nation. Oh, says this. Who's this one? Oh, no. This one. Oh, SDS Nation's coming after me, guys. This lady. Boomer cringe. Oh, yeah. STS Nation. What even is that? Like, I've seen your views, Joel. Like, let's go to any one of your stupid shows. You've got 150,000 subs, right? On your channel. Slightly less than I have. 157. I got 163, but who's counting? Okay. Go down here. 27,000, 22,000. Oh, you got the Koberger one. So that was the big one. You got 100,000 there when you talked about Koberger. So you did grift off of that. But then you go down here, and when you talk about Karen Reed, bro, it's just not, nobody's listening to you. Maybe that's why you stopped talking about Karen Reed. Is that why? Because nobody was listening to you? 20,000, 24,000, 33, 32, 6.3 thousand. Yikes. Tough times. 31,000. If you can't get views off the Karen Reed trial, bro, you're not very good at this. Probably because you're not interesting. So that's why no one's listening to your stupid show. But I digress. Back to this. No, wrong one. Back to your stupid tweets. Oh, he's mad about Ben Affleck. He's so mad about this. He's so mad that I hung out with Ben Affleck. Hey, Ben, maybe watch this first. Hey, Ben, pay attention to me, Ben Affleck. I'm important. Watch my video. You'll be the first. I don't know how many views you got on that video there, Joel. How many views you up to now that you put out last night? Oh, you got 8,486. I'll probably have more than that when I'm done with this stream. But okay. Then he takes it to the next level. Hey, Alan Jackson, David Yannetti, and Bob Alessi. You are aware that the bully blogger is a Holocaust minimizer? He picked an unprovoked fight with an 86-year-old Holocaust survivor. She's my mom, not with me. Notice he's not saying he picked a fight with me. I picked a fight with you, Joel. I didn't pick a fight with you. I slightly criticized you, and you lost your ever-loving mind. As justice warriors, are you okay with this? She ate horse meat. You still want the blogger associated with you all? Hopefully I'll hear back from you. Silence can be deafening after all. Watch my video. Hashtag bully the bully. Hashtag dude. He's just getting destroyed. It's not going the way he thought it would. Oh man, look at that book. Not very good, Joel. Top 200,000. That's good, I guess. Yeah. He just gets destroyed and ratioed on his own posts. It's great. And just imagine trying to get just a reminder. I am the reason that over $1 million was raised for Karen Reed's legal defense fund. No one was paying attention to the story before me. I championed her cause because it was the right thing to do. And it's one of my greatest life accomplishments is helping get justice for John O'Keefe. We're one step closer with the acquittal of Karen Reed. Okay. Saved an innocent woman from going to jail for the rest of her life. Right. That's what I did. And these attorneys are, national heroes now because of the spotlight I put on this. But yeah, Joel, I'm sure they're going to turn against me. I'm sure that Alan Jackson's going to be like, oh, wow, something taken out of context. So he slightly criticized your monetization of your mother's real experience. And you want me to turn on him now? I don't think that's going to go the way you think it's going to go, Joel. But good luck with that. Best of luck. How about this? Preach. Joel proudly promotes his book alongside his mom, a Holocaust survivor. Yes. Meanwhile, the blogger begs for turtle chat. I don't see any begging. Relying on donations. to read comments. People want to donate, they can. I'm not relying on anything. I'll be just fine either way. Got plenty of Turtle Club memberships. Well, shamelessly plugging his defense fund. I don't recall, people share that on their own. I hardly ever plug it. Like, there's people that do entire streams raising money for me. You know why people do that? Because they like me and they understand the important work that I did. You don't. You've never done anything like this, Joel. You've never accomplished anything. Okay. He needs to stop with his anti-Semitic hate. Anti-Semitic hate. I wonder if any of his sponsors are Jewish. I don't have sponsors, dear. Welcome. That's why you can't cancel me. But I don't think it's anti-Semitic to say some of the things that I've said. To say that Joel is a grifter. I don't think that's anti-Semitic. As much as Joel wants to act like he's a Holocaust survivor, he's actually not a Holocaust survivor. He's just a grifter. Anyway. And then he did this morning, and Betero destroyed him. Hey, Betero. So he didn't stand by, he didn't tag Bradel, who was also my attorney, just Betero. Why is it always just Betero? Never Bradel. Hey, Betero, do you still stand by a client who minimizes the atrocities of the Holocaust? That shows how little this guy knows about law and order. Right? That's how little this guy knows about law and order, to think that my lawyer is going to no longer stand by me in the face of witness intimidation charges that are completely fraudulent because I criticized Joel on his show, on my sex cult that I run. Okay. Are you going to condemn the bully blogger or these people that demand that other people condemn? Are you going to condemn Wendy Murphy, bro? That's my question. I mean, since we're making demands about condemnation, I'm not really into that, but apparently you are. Your client is busy spinning his wheels, trying to rationalize why he's not a Holocaust minimizer. I'll respectfully wait for your response. Okay. Let's see what he says. Joel, nice to hear from you for the first time in more than a year. I hope you're well. I enjoyed my numerous appearances on your show at your request, which I believe were well-received, successful, and high-rated shows because of Mark's presence, by the way. I'm surprised by your public, what appears to be antagonistic challenge to see whether or not I will condemn a client that you do not like, or if I will attempt to spin my way out of it. As a Jewish man, of course, I don't condone minimizing the Holocaust or the experiences of anyone who experienced that atrocity. And no, I don't agree with Aiden's comments that I saw in a brief clip of a Substack article. So there you go. My lawyer does not have to agree with me, but it doesn't matter. That's the whole point of the First Amendment, Joel, is that not everybody agrees with everything I have to say. Now, a lot of people might agree with what I'm saying about you being a grifter, but not everyone does. And that's okay too. You're allowed to disagree. The problem is you disagree and you immediately try to victimize yourself and get me canceled. In other words, but I don't need to agree with him. Like many clients I've represented, there are things Aiden says and does I don't agree with. In other words, it's not unique to him. In many cases, the things I might not agree with include the conduct which results in my representation. What I do believe is that Aiden is being wrongfully and selectively persecuted for expressing his opinions and engaging in activist journalism with respect to the events surrounding what I believe was a disgraceful and unethical prosecution of an innocent woman. In other words, Joel, I'm an attorney who zealously represents clients for specific matters, whether I agree with what they say or do. That is lawyers are supposed to do. Surely you know and appreciate this. At the same time, I respect your opinion and right to publicly criticize Aiden, but let me be clear. I don't believe Aiden is anti-Semitic. Thank you, Mr. Betero. I have great respect for you and would never minimize what your mother or others experienced in the Holocaust and Nazi era. In all fairness, all speech is contextual. I will leave it for others to discuss what context of what Aiden says, why he said it, and they can draw their own conclusions. Your public demand that I and Karen Reed's lawyers be subjected to what amounts to a litmus test on the definition of a Holocaust victim because of our relationship or affiliation with Aiden is surprising, coming from a journalist who regularly covers criminal cases. Does your concern for whether lawyers believe everything a client says also extend to other lawyers beyond your challenge to me and Karen's lawyers? Do you condemn Hank Brennan for condoning murder and mayhem because he represented Whitey Bulger? And what about Wendy Murphy, who you hosted on your show? In addition to being a Duke lacrosse truther, she joked about Karen Reed being sexually assaulted in prison. She called Karen Reed's lawyers maggots. Have you asked her whether she condones sexual assault? I could go on, but I think you get the point. So to answer your public challenge, I don't agree with Aiden that your mother is not a Holocaust survivor, but I don't think it matters whether I agree with him or not. You're going on a very slippery slope when you start judging the legitimacy of lawyers' representations by equating them with their clients. If you wish to continue, you may contact me offline. Boom, roasted, Bettero. Boom, roasted. So that's who he is. Right? That's who he is. Like, if you even read, like, here's other things he said about the Karen Reed trial. He goes, regarding the Karen Reed trial, and after hearing Bettero on my show last night, something is definitely not adding up. Something's being covered up. Too many coincidences. What happened, actually, no one actually knows. But there's a whole lot of smoke. I still want to see all the evidence. Mark made so many salient points. Appreciate his knowledge and professionalism. STF's is staying on this. Oh, he's on it, guys. He's on it. So he knows Karen Reed's innocent. He's just too much of a coward to actually say that. He's too much. And this is what I've been saying since day one, but I guess I'm a bad guy. Then he's got this tweet. Have to feel for Mrs. O'Keefe listening to voicemails from Karen Reed to John O'Keefe. Here's one. John, I fucking hate you. Yeah, I go, if they didn't indict Karen Reed, she wouldn't have to hear this. And then somebody's like, nobody listens to SCS. Ha ha. Just the 2.5 million views and podcast listens we get per month. Clown. Sensitive there, Joel. Sensitive. A little sensitive there. Easy. All right. Do we have another one? Oh, how about this? This is a good one too. He's on it, guys. Yeah, he's on it. Joel's gonna get to the bottom of it. So Krowski says about Karen's lawyers, there is no bottom. Right. Hope you're well, Joe. STS is sitting out part duh. Watching from the nosebleeds. So he's like bragging about we are not, he's going to get to the bottom of this, guys, by sitting it out. He doesn't want to deal with the mean comments. People are too mean to Joel. He can't take it. He can't handle a little light criticism. He's a survivor, guys. He survived. How about this? So he goes, things that make you go, And so he talks about the Karen Reed case. And then he goes, wow, mention Karen Reed and the trolls roll out. And then Leah says here, you would get more views if you took a stance on cases. We choose who to watch. And you guys have become court TV with uninformed panels. There's no point watching. Exactly. And then he actually says this, I'm a journalist. It's not what I do. Plenty of other channels. He's a real journalist, guys. Sure he is. He's a blogger. That's what he is. He's a blogger. He's nothing but a blogger. Joel the blogger, who is he's a real journalist. He's getting to the bottom of it. It's not what I do. I'm not covering this major story and the biggest story in the true crime world because I'm a pussy and I'm afraid of online criticism. That's what he is. Just a big bitch. That's all he's ever been, and it's all he ever will be. From Holocaust minimizer himself, Joel Waldman. All right. You go to anything. You Google this guy, And just the first thing that comes up, his entire existence is his mommy. Florida author shares story of mother's Holocaust survival. Markel case connection. He somehow makes this about the Markel case, the Adelsons, because Danny Markel was Jewish. And he's like, see, he actually says this in here. Back in the summer of 2014, it was another Jewish person named Dan Markel, a rising legal scholar at Florida State, who is also a victim of extreme hate. The hate was so bad that it cost him his life. He goes, at a hair away from 85, my mother is widely considered the oldest active true crime podcaster in America as co-host. Co-host, but she's never on. Alongside me of our show, Surviving the Survivor. So he's using his mother as like, oh, she's the oldest acting podcaster in the world. She's a Holocaust survivor. Listen to my podcast. And also, Dan Markel was the victim of extreme hate. Dan Markel was not killed because of anti-Semitism. What? Dan Markel was killed because Wendy Adelson wanted custody of the kids and wanted to move to Miami with the kids. That's why Wendy Adelson's family murdered Dan Markel. Not because he's Jewish. They were Jewish, if I recall. Like, she wanted him to find. Donna was so controlling. I believe that the reason that Donna's oldest son no longer talks to her is because he didn't marry a Jew, and Donna cut him off. Like, the Adelsons are literally Jewish. What is he talking about? Oh my God, he's such a fraud. I mean, let's go to, he's even his book online, Surviving the Survivor. Let's see. 136 reviews, 4.7 stars. What about Turtle Boy's book? I Am Turtle Boy. Well, how many I got? 253 reviews and 4.8 stars. Roasted. And I don't have a publisher or anything. Even Kevin's book sells for $5.99. Okay. Wait till my book comes out. Then you're going to see real grifting. Okay. Speaking of grifting, let's read some turtle chats, shall we? If we have any. All right. Melanie sends $5 and goes, the whole premise of his show is disrespectful to his mom. He has had to survive the survivor who is his mother. He implies that his childhood being raised by her was a struggle that he had to survive. He is a disgrace. Exactly, Melanie. Exactly. Like, what does surviving the survivor mean? She's the survivor and he survived her. So she's like bad person. She's a bad mother. Is that what he's saying? Like his whole like, oh, my childhood was so tough, I survived her. What is that supposed to mean? Hot for Hillside sends $12 and he goes, for not Joel's book. Well, thank you very much. Alicia sends $10 and goes, I am Jewish and totally agree with you, Turtle Boy. The same way he is a survivor, he uses anti-Semitic. I was in front of the World Trade Center on 9/11. I never said I survived 9/11. He is a pussy. Exactly. Like, it's just, I was literally at the Boston Marathon bombing. I was there when it happened. I saw it go up. I'm not a survivor of the Boston Marathon bombing. I'm not. You know who is a survivor of the Boston Marathon bombing? People who lost limbs. I wouldn't minimize what they went through by trying to equate myself to them. I'm not. I was not injured. I was fine. I was there. I witnessed it fucking happen, but I am not in any way, shape, or form a survivor of that. That's the difference between me and you. I don't use people's tragedies to monetize myself. All right. I think I have a Cash App here. Jennifer Altman, a Jew, sends $15 and goes, Joel Waldman's big fucking mouth. He does. Just a baby, man. Just a baby. So there's that. Okay, cool. Anyone else do we have? Okay, cool. All right. So limited grifting today. That's cool. But anyway, I just wanted to come on and say that I don't put up with that shit. I don't deal with the fake victimhood. I respond to it. I go on the offensive, not the defensive, right? I don't sit up here and say, oh, I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm not. No, I know I'm not. That's what people who are sensitive about that do. I'm not the least bit sensitive about it. I attack you. I call out your lies and what you are actually. He is the Holocaust minimizer. He minimizes the Holocaust. He pretends that he is a Holocaust survivor. He appropriates the death and profits off of the death of 6 million people, including 1.5 million children. He does that. So he can get fucked for that. He's a horrible person, and I hope he burns in eternal hell, which is exactly where he belongs with his extremely low-rated program. All right? So anyway, I'm outie, guys. We will see you guys all tomorrow night for the live show. Peace to your bum crease.
It calls for